Hi, welcome back. This is part 3 of the Mailchimp to Salesforce 9-part series. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to sync Mailchimp campaigns to Salesforce campaigns. If you're using Salesforce campaigns to track other marketing activities like web form submissions, white paper downloads, maybe your trade shows, events, and conferences, it's not ideal to have your campaign activity for emails in a different object. We're going to show you how to automate the creation of a Salesforce campaign, as well as keep the email stats updated on that campaign record so they're ready for your reporting. So let's hop over into Salesforce and see how this works. So our first step is to create a whole bunch of fields that we want to use for tracking. We're going to go into Setup, and we'll go to the Object Manager, go to Campaign, and we're going to create a new field, and the first field that we're going to create is a lookup field. And this is going to be a lookup to the MC campaign. This is what is going to link the Mailchimp campaign to the Salesforce campaign. Our next step is to create our email metrics fields. Now there are at least 10 different metrics that you can track on your campaign. And these are all going to be number fields with no decimals. So we're going to create those really fast here, and we'll list out those fields in the description below. Okay, now let's take a look at our page layout. And we're going to create some sections on our campaign page here. Create a section called Email Statistics. And we're going to drag all these down here. Okay, we will save this. And now let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay, so I have a record here. We can see we have our lookup, and then we have our number of fields here for our email statistics. Now, you may be asking yourself why we didn't create formula fields for these numbers, because we have a link between our campaign and our Mailchimp campaign, so we could just create formula fields that bring over the data onto the Salesforce campaign. Now, there's a couple of reasons why we don't recommend doing this. Number one, I don't know of one company who hasn't switched marketing automation systems at some point in time. And if you are going to switch and you're using all of these metrics as formula fields, when you go to uninstall the Mailchimp package, you're going to have to delete all of these fields and you will lose all of that data. So creating these as number fields allows you to use more than one marketing automation system if you want to, and also allows you to migrate the data if you need to. So it gives you that flexibility to be able to change at a later point in time, and it won't be as painful. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is we can create a bunch of formula fields that are going to calculate percentages for us, because a lot of times we want to see the percentage opens, the percentage unsubscribes, to compare our email metrics between our campaigns. And if we create the formula fields on the campaign, we'll be able to easily compare those formulas. Okay, so the first field that we're going to create is percent opens. And you're going to get an error here because it's saying that we already have a field called opens on our campaign, which is true. It's the number field. So we'll just type out the word percent in front of there. Okay, and then we're going to use this formula. If email sent equals 0, return 0. If it doesn't, return opens divided by the number of emails sent. This formula is going to keep you from getting a pound error sign if the number of emails sent is 0. Okay, so then we can put in the description number of emails divided by emails, or number of opens divided by emails sent. Next one will be percent clicks. Okay, this is going to be number of clicks divided by emails sent. Copy this formula. This will be clicks with an S. There we go. The third formula is going to be our unsubscribes. And our fourth formula is going to be unique clicks. In this, I'm going to use the field picker so I can make sure I get the right name in here. Okay. And you can also create formulas for your percent of hard bounces and soft bounces. We're not going to create those. Okay, we'll go back to our page layout and we're just going to move these percentages in the right place, which we want it down with our email metrics here. And I like to put it underneath what the number is. And then we have unique clicks. So let's move the unsubscribes over here. Okay. All right, so now we've created all of our fields. Now we need to create our flow. I'm going to go to Home and then Flows. Click New Flow. Click Record Triggered Flow. And our object is going to be MC Campaign. So whenever an MC Campaign record is created or updated, and then we're going to leave everything else set as the default. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a get records. And we are going to get campaign. So we are going to look for a campaign that has the MC campaign ID, the same ID as the MC campaign that triggered this flow to run. And we only want the first record because there only should be one. It should be a one-to-one. Now we want to put a decision element in here. And I'm going to say, does the campaign exist? The answer is yes or no. So first it's going to look for, so it's going to say, is the get campaign null? So if the get records element that is looking for the campaign is not null, then it's found a campaign. Then our default outcome is no, the campaign does not exist. There is no campaigns with this MC campaign ID on it. So if we do not find a match on the campaign ID, the MC campaign ID, we are going to create a Salesforce campaign. And we are going to use separate resources and literal values. And we are going to create a campaign record. And now we're going to set all of those fields that we created. Okay, so got abuse reports. Second is clicks. Then we have emails sent. We want to set our end date for our campaign. This is going to be the time that the email was sent. So send time. And then forwards. And then we'll do hard bounces. And then we'll do opens. Then what's next? Soft bounces. We'll do start date. This is also going to be the send time. That's my preference. I always make my start and end dates on my email campaigns the date that the email was sent. It makes it really easy for reporting purposes. Type is going to be email. We also have unique clicks. Unique opens. We have unsubscribes. forward opens. And then the name of the campaign we also need to set. So this means you need to have really good naming conventions in Mailchimp. And then our MC campaign is going to be the ID of the MC campaign record. That'll be our link. And then our status of the campaign will be completed. If you need your this campaign to be active so that your sales teams can use this campaign in the primary campaign source on opportunities, or so that they can, actually, I think that's the only reason you would need it to be active. Or if you may have another reason within your org, you will also want to set the active checkbox to be checked. So is active true? Otherwise, your teams will not be able to see this when they're updating their primary campaign source on their opportunities. Okay, if you're using record types on your campaign, you will also need to specify the record type. We don't have record types in this org, so we are not going to do that. Okay, we will hit done here. I'm a little paranoid about saving, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. So this flow is being triggered from the MC campaign object, and this is going to create and update campaigns. So it's triggered when an MC campaign is created or updated. It updates stats on the campaign and creates a new campaign if one does not exist. Okay. Okay, now we need to do the other side of this. What if the stats are modified on our MC campaign record? So we need to check that. So if the stats, let's say stats updated. So this is a yes. And our default outcome will be no. Okay, so this needs to check for any of those stats to change. I mean, this is kind of a pain, I know, but you only have to do it once. It's changed is true. Then our clicks. Need to do unique clicks. And opens, then unique opens. And then email sent. Okay, we have a couple more to add in here. Okay, we have unsubscribes. Our soft. And then our forwards. Okay, check for all these. Okay, so we're checking for any of these stats to change. So make sure you set that condition to or right up here. And now we need to do an assignment. So if any of these change, we want to assign the value to our campaign. So we're going to assign updated campaign stats. And here's where we're going to set these values on our get campaign so that they can be updated to be equal to whatever the current stat is on the MC campaign. So now we have to list all of these here. Okay, well, we'll come back up here and we'll map it all. Some clicks. This is unique clicks. Forwards and forward opens. This is our opens. This is our unique opens. Okay. Whew. You may say, why don't you make us a package for this? And the answer is I can't, because it's dependent on the Mailchimp objects. Otherwise we would. That is not fun. Okay. Now we just need to add an update records element to this. So we are going to move this puppy up and we will do update records. And we are going to use the ID from here. So we're going to update this campaign. Update campaign. Okay. All right, so let's save this. Okay, now there's a part 7 that's coming down the pike. If you want to be able to add campaign members to these campaigns and then update their campaign member statuses whenever they're opening or clicking an email, then we'll need to do a second step. We will leave that step for part 7. Those instructions are in our how-to article that you can find in the description down below from Blu Ninjas. So we are not going to complete that step at this time. We're going to leave it for part 7. Okay, so we are going to activate this flow. Now, if you followed the instructions in part 1, you have a test email campaign that we set up. So we're going to go ahead and go to this campaign, and we are going to link the Mailchimp campaign to this Salesforce campaign. So what we're doing in this scenario is we are testing to see if an existing campaign is updated with the Mailchimp stats. Now we'll go to the Mailchimp campaign. And we will click Refresh Campaign Stats. And then what that will do is it'll update all the statistics on the Mailchimp campaign. And then we should come to our Salesforce campaign and we should see the stats were changed. And we do. So we can see our emails sent, our opens, and all of this has been updated correctly. So this is awesome. Now, if you want to test sending a brand new campaign, let's look at how that looks. All right, so we're going to clone this right here. All right, so we're going to give it a good name. I like to name my campaigns very specifically. I like them to start with the year, and then it should say what it is. So let's say that this is a trade show invite for CES email. And then I also like to put the date that the email was sent in the campaign name. It's up to you if you hate that. Okay, and then we only have one recipient that this is going to go to, which is fine. We'll click send. Okay, so that email went out. Now to see your Mailchimp campaigns, we go to the MC Setup tab. And we go to the Campaigns tab, and we see our campaign isn't here yet because it comes in the hourly sync. So we're just going to hit refresh. And we can now see that our campaign came in. Now what we would expect to see is that we have a Salesforce campaign created with this same name. So let's go see if that worked. Yay. There's our Salesforce campaign linked to our Mailchimp campaign, and all of our email stats have been updated. Brilliant. So we have now automated the creation of our Mailchimp campaigns to our Salesforce campaigns. That's it. That's a wrap. We hope you gained some valuable insights into how to integrate Mailchimp with Salesforce. Be sure to check out part 7, where we will show you how to write an automation that will automatically add campaign members to the campaigns you just created in this tutorial. The automation will update the campaign member status to show how the leads and contacts engaged with your emails. Then you will be able to view their engagement from the campaign history related list on the lead and contact pages. If you have any questions, or if you would like to see a tutorial on a different Salesforce topic, let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Blu Tiger Academy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.